everyone and welcome to another DIY workshop tutorial. In this video we will show you how to replace the front shock absorbers and strut mounts on a 2019 4x4 2.0 diesel engine 190 horsepower Skoda Superb 3 Sportline. If you like our tutorials, you can reward our effort with a simple tap or click on the subscribe or like button. Also, don't forget to share your opinion about the tutorial in a comment. Okay guys, let's get to work. First you have to remove these 4 metal clips. Then take out the rubber seal. Now we can remove the right side plastic trim. To remove the left side trim, you will have to remove the windshield wiper arm. They are held in place by two 13mm nuts. Then you will have to use a small wiper arm press. It's very cheap and easy to find in any parts store. If the trim doesn't easily come out, we recommend that you use a trim remover tool. Now you have access to the strut mounts bolts. Take out the cap and spray some WD-40 on the upper nut. Remove the wheel center hub cap. This one comes with the lug nuts caps. To loosen up the axle nut, you will need a 24mm bi-hex socket and a big breaker bar. Using a metal pipe as an extender would be really helpful if the nut is stuck, as an impact wrench doesn't always work on these nuts. Time to loosen up the lug nuts. Raise the car, take out the 17mm lug nuts and remove the wheel. Place the wheel and a jack stand under the car for safety. As you can see, the shock absorber was pretty worn out. First you'll have to remove the connector of the electric shock absorber. Now you can remove the mount that holds the cables for the shock absorber, the wear sensor and the ABS sensor. Disconnect the brake pad's wear sensor and the ABS sensor. Time to take out the brake caliper. You will need to use a 13mm combination wrench and a 17mm combination wrench to remove the locking bolts. Pull the brake caliper firmly towards you so that the piston retracts just enough for the caliper to slide off the brake pads. Because we removed the mount for the cables, it's now safe to put the caliper on the ground. Don't let it hanging just by the brake lines. We then cleaned the rust off and sprayed some WD-40 on the bolt of the tie rod, the bolt of the sway bar link, and the bolts on the lower control arm. The 16mm nuts on the bolts of the control arm came out easily. We couldn't remove the nut on the sway bar link just using the impact wrench, so we had to do it manually a bit later. To extract the tie rod from the steering knuckle, it is recommended that you use a special press. Now that you took out the tie rod, you can turn the rotor for better access to the sway bar link. To loosen the nut, we used an M6 bit and an 18mm ratcheting wrench. Now that the nut is loose, we can use the impact wrench to speed things up. Fortunately, the sway bar link came out on its own. If the sway bar link is stuck, you may have to suspend the other wheel too, so there is no more tension in the sway bar. This is a good time to check for any wear or play on both bushings of the link, because it will be very easy to replace. Our link was as good as new, so we could move on to the next step, and that's removing the height level sensor from the lower control arm. We had to do this because there isn't enough play to take out the control arm from the steering knuckle, and the plastic link of the sensor could crack. All you need to do this is a 10mm socket. And out goes the control arm. Now you can take out the CV axle bolt and pull out the axle. We finally made it to the strut mount bolts. These are 13mm bolts. Also, it's a good time to loosen up the 21mm strut nut. Hold a firm grip on the strut and shock assembly and take it out. We took the assembly outside for the natural light. To remove the strut nut, you will have to take out this 18mm bolt, so remove the rust, apply some WD-40 and wait for it to work its magic. Then you will need an M14 and an 18mm socket. Now that the bolt is out, you have to widen the gap between these two arms of the steering knuckle holding the strut assembly. We strongly recommend buying this small and cheap steering knuckle spreader. It will make your job way easier. Original ones are really expensive, but we found this one on Temu for 10 euros or less. I won't share a link because it's easy to find and order. You'll have to place it at both ends so the strut mount can come out freely, but it saves a lot of time compared to using a hex bit and a hammer. To compress the spring, we use two simple metal presses tightened on opposite sides of the spring. Now you can take out the 21mm strut nut. To bleed the new shock absorber, you will have to manually compress and decompress it about 6 or 7 times. Place the rubber lower spring seat and the bumper stopper onto the new shock absorber. Separate the upper spring seat from the dust cover. Attach the dust cover to the new strut mount. Insert the spring and then the strut mount. We are going to use the original strut nut because in our experience the original ones are much better than the aftermarket. To tighten the nut the right way, we used a 7mm hex bit and a 21mm spark plug socket. Remember, you should not use an impact wrench at this point as you may damage the oil seal. The final tightening torque will be applied on the car. After releasing the spring presses, make sure the spring is in the right position. When inserting the strut assembly back into the steering knuckle, make sure it goes in all the way. And that was it. All the other steps are in reverse order. You will however need another set of hands to raise the strut assembly in position so you can thread the 3 bolts back in. Don't forget to check if the arrows drawn on the mount match the driving directions of the car. Make sure you apply the tightening torques recommended by the car manufacturer for all the bolts and nuts. Thank you very much for watching. If this video was helpful, don't forget to subscribe for free, like or leave a comment. Until next time, we wish you all the best and remember, the DIY workshop saves money. Bye bye!